Hey guys, it's Kate, Zencat Vintage, and today we are doing a quick stop at the St. Vincent de Paul thrift store in Victoria, BC. It's been a long time since I came to this store. I don't honestly get into this part of town very often, and to be completely honest, ever since this store changed locations, I have seen a little bit of a change in the quality of the inventory that they get in. I used to call this store at its old location my honey hole. It was a place I used to find amazing stuff. So I don't always make it out this way, but I was in the neighborhood, so I had to stop in and have a look. You saw me checking out the figurines there, of course. And then moving on to this shelf, I saw this dish here, which is actually the bottom half of like an old Depression class butter dish. I was going to hang on to it and look around the store, see if I could find the top half, but there were a couple little flea bites on it. So I ended up just sort of leaving it on the shelf. This is a nice little piece of Portuguese pottery. Not a ton of resale value on them. There is some. And I was really struck by the design of this little pitcher here. I loved the little ice lip on it. It was probably a piece of Mexican pottery. And then that mug caught my eye really just because my family has ties to the Bahamas, and I visited the Atlantis resort once years and years ago. So it was just kind of funny seeing it here in Victoria. Now, I am a huge sucker for enamelware, so I did really like that dish. I wasn't thinking so much for resale. I honestly still don't need inventory, but I was honestly thinking for myself. But I probably wouldn't use it, so I did end up leaving it, even though it was only $1, and I kind of regretted that one. Then I had a peek at this teapot, which was adorable. I think it was just a hobbyist piece, but it was so cute. It's a little beehive with the daisies and a little bee on top, and it was priced at $8, and I was actually super happy to see, like right behind me, a young girl shopping with her boyfriend came and picked it up, so that was kind of one of those like awesome little thrift moments there. That brown teapot, I had to double check just to make sure it wasn't like an authentic Brown Betty. Brown Betties, they're like just vintage teapots made in England. They have that very typical sort of like brown glaze to them, and they're quite collectible. This milk glass pedestal dish, I believe, is an Anchor Hawking. Unless milk glass is super special, I really don't touch it very often because it does not sell for me, but then I had to have a look at the Christmas stuff. I remember having the little A&W bear pom-pom ornament on my tree growing up, so that was fun to see. I think my mom probably still has it. I do not need more Christmas stuff, but I always have to have a look just to make sure that there isn't something really, really cool in there, something vintage. I'm also kind of looking at like ephemera stuff. I was maybe hoping to find some like vintage like Christmas books and things like that with a certain type of imagery in them. But for now, I was having a peek at the ornaments. My husband actually found a couple packages of very cool vintage crepe paper. I was just checking out the craft books here to make sure there wasn't anything super cool. But they can be worth lotting up if you can get them cheap enough. But as I was saying, my husband found some packs of vintage crepe paper, basically the same kind of stuff that his father used years ago to make like a faux fireplace. So it was kind of a really special sort of funny moment for him, seeing something that reminded him so much of his dad. He squirreled them away before I got a chance to take a picture of them, so you won't see them in the haul. But we did get a couple packs of very cool vintage brick pattern crepe paper. I was completely confused as to what that thing was. If you know, please let me know because I still have no idea. And then the apple there would have been 25 cents. Green tags were half price. But what do I need a wooden apple for? Absolutely nothing. I did check out the clogs though. I did contemplate picking up the clogs. They were priced at $10 though, but the wooden clogs can actually be well worth picking up. Some of them can actually resell for quite a bit. They're a popular decor item. This was really beautiful. Normally I find the ones with like the geese on them, but this one had swallows. It unfortunately had a lot of scratches to it. It would have been half price though, so it would have only been $4. But there was a lot of scratching, no breaks, which was nice. But I did end up leaving it. I really didn't grab very much today. I was trying to be good, but I also just wasn't finding a lot of things that kind of made me go like, wow. So having a peek in the bins here of craft supplies, I'm looking for little like Christmas miniatures, little things like that, not just for resale, but kind of want to do some crafting, trying to maybe get a few things together so my daughter and I can do some crafting this year. We always talk about it and then we get so busy with the holidays that we never end up doing it. So I'm just trying to find a few little inspiring bits and pieces that we can maybe add some new ornaments to our tree this year. So there was lots of like ribbons and, confettis and little bits and pieces like that, but none of the kind of actual miniature things that I was more so looking for. Though those chicken and nest stickers there were super cute. I didn't even notice those in the moment. I think I was so fixated on thinking about Christmas. I did contemplate getting the little bag of diamonds though. I thought those would be good for like just adorning ornaments, but and then I had a look at this. That actually would have been half price. I'm just realizing that would have been half price too. I wasn't really thinking, obviously. Sizzix, that's an older machine. It's for doing die cuts, but the newer ones, some of the like stamps or whatever they call them, can resell phenomenally well. So kind of kicking myself there. I was obviously not really in like reseller game mode. I think I was just honestly in like, I was being selfish, I think. I was looking for myself today, I think, more than anything. Though I did love the pattern on those. It kind of reminded me of something IKEA, but they were unsigned. Then I also really considered grabbing this piece, and I now honestly kick myself for not having grabbed it. It looked kind of like there was a type of like figurine, Scandinavian in design. Very similar. This one would have been like a bud vase with a candle holder on the top of her hat, which was really cool. She was only $2, so that probably would have been worthy of grabbing, but it'll be there for someone else to enjoy. And that just before I headed out the door, they had this table full of books for like 10 cents, and I saw this Fimo modeling clay like inspiration idea book. So I did grab this because I thought that would be super fun to have some inspiration, some how-tos if I get to that point in my future crafting endeavors. There were some really fun ideas in there. And that is where we are going to wrap up the shopping trip though. So hopefully you enjoyed, and stay tuned for the very tiny, super teeny tiny 2-part haul.